naked bikes like this Triumph Trident 660 are built for the pure experience of the ride. But that purity comes with a price. You are completely exposed. Most of us spend half of our time looking at our own elbows in the mirrors, trying to figure out if that SUV is actually in the next lane or right on our tail. Considering that motorcycles are 28 times more likely to die in a crash than car occupants, relying on vibrating mirrors isn't enough. So we've installed the Chigee SR1 Radar, a weatherproof 77 gigahertz system that cuts through rain, fog, and darkness to tell you exactly what's happening in your blind spots, displayed right on a high-def AIO-6 cockpit. Now, the AIO-6 display is not required. You can run just the SR1 if you like, but we're going to pair everything together. Now, full disclosure, Chigee did send me this unit to review. They also gave me a coupon code, Canyon Chasers, which will save you some money at checkout if you decide that this setup is right for you and your ride. But as always, my first obligation is to you. Without you watching, commenting, and supporting this channel, I wouldn't be able to do any of this. My opinions are my own, and I will always be honest with what works and what doesn't. But to be completely real, I was excited to try this system, but I didn't expect to like it as much as I do. I mean, I get offers to review electronic farkles every single week, and I pass on almost all of them because most of them don't solve a real problem. Now, my personal bike, the Multistrada Pikes Peak, has blind spot monitoring, and I actually love it. It's a simple little thing that just reduces the chances of making a mistake. So I was eager to add this to a more entry-level bike to see how well it actually works, especially compared to the system that came stock on a bike that retails for 3 times as much as this rocking little Triumph Trident. Installing tech on a naked bike is always a game of where do I hide the wire, since there are 0 fairings to duck behind. One thing I appreciated right away is Chigee includes everything you need in a box. You aren't running to the hardware store halfway through. To keep the Trident tidy, I tucked wires along the frame rails along the underside of the gas tank. It's a tight fit, but because the cables are slim, it was easy enough to hide everything. The real battle, honestly, was the spaghetti under the seat. The Trident doesn't give you much real estate to work with, so the hard part was organizing the wires so I wouldn't be embarrassed if anyone saw my handiwork. It's a bit of a Tetris puzzle under there, but once you get the routing down, it all tucks away securely. I also took a little creative liberty with the radar mounting. I didn't want to stick the SR1 right on top of the brake light. Instead, I offset it and mounted it right on top of the turn signal. It's probably more secure, and the field of view is still perfectly fine. Now, how you install this on your bike depends a lot on, well, your bike. While I was at it, I made one more crucial change. I swapped out the Triumph's bar end mirrors that this bike came with for the Chigee Radar Mirrors. Now don't get me wrong, the factory mirrors look cool, but on the road, they were mostly just giving me a high definition view of my own elbows. And I didn't like how they prevented my hand from moving on the bars the way that I prefer. These Chigee mirrors are a massive upgrade. They are crystal clear, completely distortion-free, and crucially, they don't vibrate at all. But the real genius here is the integration. Chigee built the blind spot indicator directly into the mirror stock. When the SR1 radar detects someone in your blind spot, a subtle but bright yellow glow is right there in your field of vision. But if you already have mirrors that you love, or maybe you want to keep that factory look, the great thing about the SR1 is that it's not an all or nothing system. It comes standard with small, discrete LED indicator lights in the box. They're designed to stick right onto the edge of your existing mirrors or really anywhere in your line of sight. It's a super flexible setup that works with whatever style of bike you're running. Having a high-def touchscreen like the AIO-6 is great, but reaching out to tap the screen while you're chasing down a canyon isn't always ideal. That's why I added the CGRC Multi Remote Controller. And if you look at the placement here, it sits right where your thumb naturally wants to be. So instead of reaching for the dash, you have a nice little button and knobs, a little joystick thing that you can control your music, navigation, and voice commands right through your fingertips through your helmet comm system. It feels incredibly intuitive. You can toggle through your radar alerts, adjust volume, answer a call without ever taking your hand off the hand grip. It gives the Trident this OEM plus feel, like the bike was designed from the factory with this level of tech integration. It's the difference between having a tablet stuck to the handlebars and having a fully functional smart cockpit. Now, there is a very specific reason why I am going to such lengths to dial this bike in. I'm giving it away. And if this Triumph Trident 660 lands in your garage, it's coming exactly like this, fully loaded with the Chigee AIO-6 and the SR1 Radar 6 Sense. To get your name in the hat, head over to fanofthem.com/canyonchasers, scan the QR code on your screen right now. So back to the SR1. Why does it use 77 gigahertz? Well, most cheap aftermarket sensors only use 24 gigahertz, which can be confused by guardrails or traffic signs. 77 gigahertz is the industry gold standard. It provides millimeter level accuracy, and unlike a camera, it doesn't care if it's pitch black, pouring rain, or thick with fog. If there's a vehicle behind you, this will find it. The SR1 works by emitting high-frequency radio waves that bounce off objects behind you and return to the sensor 15 times a second. It's constantly calculating two things: distance and closing speed. It's smart enough to ignore a parked car that you're riding past, but the second a vehicle enters your danger zone, up to 70 meters away, the system springs to life.
So, it lights up when a car comes up from behind you pretty quickly, alerts on the screen with the, danger, light on the thing, and then the whole bogey screen on the dash. Just a lot of information. But even if we're not on the radar bogey screen, it's going to still pop alert and tell you what's going on.
The SR1 runs 4 intelligent safety modes simultaneously. Blind spot detection. Once you're over 6 miles an hour, it watches your no zones. If a car is hiding where your mirrors can't see, you get a visual alert. There's lane change assist. This is a predictor. If you're about to move over and radar sees a car 50 meters back approaching at a high rate of speed, it warns you before you make that move. Active overtake alert, we've all done it. You pass a car and pull back in too early. The SR1 tells you exactly when you've cleared that vehicle safely. And then rear collision warning, this is a lifesaver. If someone behind you isn't braking and a rear end collision is imminent, the system triggers a high priority emergency alert. Because we're pairing this with the Chigee AIO-6, the integration is seamless, and you can customize a lot of the functionality with the intuitive menus inside the head unit. Plus, you get a screen that shows you little triangles for all the vehicles around you. It looks like a cool science fiction fighter pilot radar screen.
Little radar screen telling you all the little cars around you. It's awfully neat, right?
And it's the screen I honestly use the most because it makes me feel like I'm piloting a Viper in Battlestar Galactica. But my favorite feature, it doesn't just warn you, it warns them. The SR1 has a built-in high-intensity strobe light that when it detects a vehicle closing too fast from behind, it flashes a rapid warning pattern at the driver to hopefully wake them up and get them to get on the brakes. It turns your bike from a passive target into an active participant in your safety. So there it is, the smartest Triumph Trident 660 on the road today. We took a minimalist, purebred, naked bike and gave it the situational awareness of a luxury car without ruining that sleek British aesthetic.
See, that's really nice, right? A little bit more intel about what's going on around you. I think it adds additional value to the whole Chigee system. Like, it's one thing to have your CarPlay and, connection to your headset, all that stuff is really nice, but the extra intel just adds that much more value, makes it that much more useful.
Now, we spent a lot of time today on the SR1 radar and how it watches your back, but if you want to see exactly what the AIO-6 head unit can really do, I'm talking about the Apple CarPlay integration and custom dash layouts and the deep dive specs. I have a dedicated video that breaks down every single feature. You're going to want to watch that next to see why I'm such a fan of this system. If you're ready to upgrade your own cockpit and give yourself that sixth sense on the road, hit the links in the description to learn more about the gear. You can scan the QR code. And don't forget to use the coupon code Canyon Chasers at checkout. It'll save you some cash and it does help support what we do here. But remember, you don't necessarily have to buy this gear to own it. This exact bike with every single Chigee component that I've just installed and dialed in is gonna go home with one of you. Head over to fanofthem.com/Canyon Chasers, grab your limited edition Trident gear, and get entered. You've only got until June 26th at midnight before the window closes forever. Honestly, I'm a little jealous of whoever wins this thing, but I can't wait to hand over the keys. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there. Watch your 6 for those bogeys. Ride on and ride well.